Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk. I am your host, ASIATHABIRD. To have a very special guest with us today. She's a celebrity manicurist, salon owner, and entrepreneur. Please welcome Sashanie Gray. Hello, Sashanie. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Asia. Thanks so much for having me.
You are most welcome. So I want to go ahead and start this interview by asking, where are you originally from and how did you get started in the nail industry?
I was born in Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica. And I would say that this industry chose me. I remember being as young as a little ankle muncher at 4 years old and staring at my mom's nails and being completely obsessed and wanting to get my nails done. And I remember she allowed me to get my first professional manicure at 13. It was a wrap from there. My fingernails and my toenails have not seen the day of light since I was 13. I was so obsessed with it. As a matter of fact, I started practicing it on myself and I was doing it for free as a hobby, literally up until 12 years ago when I went professional. So I've been doing it my whole life. So I would like to say that it chose me.
Right. Yeah. I'm kind of like the same way a little bit because I got into nails since I was like 14 years old. And I saw my mom get her nails done at the nail salon. So I was like, oh, I like how they're doing nail art. So let me get into nail art. And that's how stuff ventured on. And also I got my cosmetology license before I got into art school because I took cosmetology courses and I took cosmetology courses in high school from my sophomore to senior year. So I was able to apply all the hours and I got my cosmetology license. So I'm from the DC area. So yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Now I want to ask like this question. So on your Instagram profile, I find this very, very interesting. You're called the nail industry disruptor.
Yes.
So how did you come up with like that name? Like, why did you like describe yourself as that?
Because currently I think what is accepted as the norm is unacceptable. And I'm here to disrupt that by increasing the standard in terms of service and experience that the consumer is currently getting. My job is to increase the standards that the industry currently demands. And I think the reason why it's become accepted for so long is because the consumer isn't educated, as well as the nail techs. They're becoming more and more educated, but I'm here to educate all nail enthusiasts and to increase the standard that the industry currently demands, which is like, it's like for so long, especially going to certain salon environments for a good portion of your life, you think that's what the norm is, especially with like certain techniques that we use. And going further into like nail anatomy and education, you realize, hey, we weren't supposed to be doing okay, well then let's everybody needs to know this. So that's where I believe I come into this industry to disrupt the norm, the current norm.
Okay. Yeah, most definitely. Now I want to get into salon ownership. So Sashanie, I want to ask, like, what has been your experience owning your own salon or nail studio?
It has been really fulfilling. It's business ownership on a whole is not always easy. It's not always glamorous, but it certainly is always fulfilling. Being able to pour into the lives, not only of like my team members, but also the community. It gives me like the utmost level of fulfillment, right? A part of the forefront of our ethos is having an attitude of servitude. So just getting to serve not just, again, the community, but also my team, which on a whole is a part of the entirety. So fulfillment, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. Now I want to also get into your other business venture, which is that you have your own line of tools called Sash Pro Tools.
Yes.
And I want you to talk about, how did you get started with this business? Like, how did you say, hey, I want to start having my own nail tools? How did that come about?
Out of necessity. Some of your viewers might know, I'm also the lead national educator for Essie. And so having that responsibility has given me the opportunity to travel the entire United States, teaching high-end spas and nail schools. And I find that they would always grasp the curriculum. They would always grasp the theory. But whenever we got down to the practicals, they were all supplied with like subpar tools. Like my girlfriend just went to nail school and she showed me the nipper that they were giving. I'm like, this is what they're setting you up for failure. Right. So that was one instance. And then the coffin was sealed when I was working Fashion Week, New York, and my existing nippers fell. That means it's no good at that point. I went to Dwayne Reed, went to go pick up a pretty well-known brand, went to go use the well-known brand, which was very costly. And I was very disappointed with its performance. And I was like, well, how am I supposed to really do my job if my students or attendees are not really fully or properly equipped for success? So I was like, well, then I'm going to bridge that gap. I'm going to go out and create the tools that that helped for me to gain manicure success, and so that I can translate that the best way possible to others as well. So that's how that idea came up.
Yeah, most definitely. Now I want to get back into salon ownership. So what is like, how important is to have documentation and insurance in pertaining to owning a salon, especially, involving inventory, products and things like that, like, that whole process of owning a salon?
You know what? I think a lot of, and I wish they taught this in nail school, but I guess business and nail school should go hand in hand. I don't know. But I cannot stress how important it is to have systems in place. And in terms of insurance, I cannot stress how important that is. We're dealing with live tissue that's like minutely, we're dealing with dead tissue, that's minutely close to live tissue, and anything can happen, right? And let's just face it, sometimes accidents do happen. So it's really important to make sure that you CYA and cover your butt. Well, CYB, we'll keep it PG here, to cover your butt in terms of having insurance for your space and for your salon, to make sure that you and your business is protected. Super important. In order to have a successful salon business, you need to have systems in place, operating systems, hiring systems, retainment systems, of course, payroll systems, inventory systems. There's just like,
right.
But they say that most small businesses fail for lack of systems. So having the right systems in place will have you smooth sailing as much as possible.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, and considering that, considering like also what the products do, you got to consider like some people have allergies, and also too, like with acrylic, like MMA is not legal.
Correct.
You can't use that acrylic on anybody's nails.
Correct.
And
well, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's all I had to say.
Okay. I was going to say, well, even in terms of products that we use here, at the forefront of the Sash Pro ethos is 1, safety. 2 is maintaining the health and integrity of the natural nail and the surrounding skin. So all of the products that we use are intentionally chosen to be able to promote just that. So we use products like our regular gel manicures. We use a biosculptor, very, very subtle on the natural nail. We also use luminary nail systems for structured gel manicures. Again, that is an organic product. It actually is. That is also very gentle on the natural nail and the surrounding skin. And as well, for us as the nail tech, we're working with these products consistently. Our client might come in, spend a couple hours with us and leave, but we also have to make sure as techs that we are preventing ourselves from things like overexposure to chemicals and contact dermatitis. So in terms of the products that you choose, you have to be very cognizant of that. going cheap is not always the best route to go.
Right. Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. And also too, like the education system in terms of like with beauty. And like I said, when I took cosmetology courses in high school, like we only covered a small section of nails, and nails didn't cover like to a depth of like how to do like different nail shapes or learning about different products and things like that. So, you know, a lot of that stuff I had to learn essentially on my own, even before I got into cosmetology courses.
Girl, yeah. And the thing that kind of baffles me as well is the nail education that's provided nationwide, it's not consistent. Right. There's some states that don't even require you to be licensed to operate professionally. Like, that's scary to me, because for instance, I do business out of the state of Florida. That's where I'm licensed. That's where that's where I dwell. It is, I think, about 260 hours or something like that. So it's probably about 2-3 months. And however, we've covered chemistry, anatomy, disease control, things that are like super important. You know, you can't mix this and that, and this looks just like that, but you make sure you label that so that you don't cross. It's just, education is so important. And I just wish that the education would be streamlined and consistent and cohesive nationwide, and more in depth as well, because there's so much that goes into being a manicurist. It's so much more than just making your nails look pretty, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. And also too, of what's current, what's going on now, and what things are coming, you know, things and information, what's coming out now. So, and that's the thing with that. And especially the focus is with a lot of these cosmetology classes or beauty or nail school classes, like now they're doing a thing where it's continuing education. So before you renew a license, you have to do hours worth of continuing education.
Right.
So that's what they're offering now. So, you know, it's just the updating of the information should be improved a lot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Technology today and what is available to us as nail techs was not there, you know, when I started 10 years ago, and it's going to continue to evolve. But the education hasn't so much, you know, which I think it's really unfortunate. But maybe I'll plan on doing something about that.
Yeah, because it all focuses on like the hours you need to pass, is not to where you get fully equipped for the industry.
Correct. And fully equipped also does not necessarily mean skill level. It also means, you know, managing your micro business, especially if you plan on being a booth renter or a salon suite owner. It's not just making your nails look pretty and then charging a price for it. You know, there's also registering your business, getting a tax ID. How do you register your business? When do I pay my taxes? What type of taxes do I pay?
Right.
Like, I want to be like Swedish fish. That's what I call, that's what I call my friends. Swedish fish. Hello. Talent alone is not going to get you there. So it's not only important to have the skill set in terms of being a nail tech, but also very much to have the business skills and mindset to carry you through your career.
Yeah, absolutely. And also financially as well, like understanding finances and stuff like that.
Yes, because you could make $100,000, but did you keep it?
Right. That's the thing.
You could be a six-figure nail tech, but is that your gross or was that your net? You know?
Yeah. I really wish like they taught us like more about the financial aspect of it, like how to open up a business account or, you know, how to invest and things like that. So it just kind of like a lot has to be improved within just learning about the industry and getting into the industry in itself.
And longevity too, because you can get in, but it might gobble you up and spit you back out if you're not completely prepared for it.
Yeah. And I definitely want to transition into this other question. How important is it to trademark or get an LLC for your nail business?
It is absolutely important to register your business, even if it's a sole proprietorship, a DBA, an LLC, or get yourself incorporated. Because in terms of, let's just say liability is one example, right? in terms of liability, in case something happens to happen, somebody would be able to, put that liability towards your business, not necessarily towards you personally. In terms of accounting, you're going to, especially if you're running a micro business, well, once you become a nail tech, if you're not working for a salon, you're going to be categorized as a micro business. In terms of accounting and finances, you're going to have to learn to keep your business finances separate from your personal, separate from your personal finances. So in terms of getting yourself registered as a business, as an LLC or whatever sort of business entity, that's super important. In terms of getting your name trademarked, in terms of getting your intellectual property, copywritten, in terms of if you're going to be doing classes or having some kind of offering to the public outside of nails, I would definitely say get your intellectual property protected. I've been, can't tell you so many times that I've seen my exact verbiage from my website on somebody else's website. Right? That is copyright infringement. And I do have my intellectual property protected. So that now gives us grounds to be able to act on, hey, those were my words. I don't mind you being inspired by my words, but may you please at least rephrase them or use your own words, if you will, because it all goes up, it all ties also back into our branding, right? How are you setting yourself apart from the pack? Right. And if I'm taking the time to put the work into my brand to set myself apart from everybody else, and you like the way how I'm showing up and you want to copy exactly how I show up, how is that fair to me? Right? So we get to protect our intellectual property. We get to protect our businesses by, one, having our business names trademarked. That means nobody else will be able to use our business name for their profit and for their benefit. And two, getting your intellectual property also protected through a trademark, as well as as well as having it copywritten. That way people can't steal your stuff. Or, it doesn't prevent them from stealing your stuff. But what it does do, it gives you the ground to have, it gives you the legal ground to take action, is what it does. We protect your stuff, is what I say. But one thing that I don't mind when people are inspired by me. I don't mind when people are inspired by my words or by my work, but make it your own. Add your own twist to it or something. You know what I mean? Give people credit. Give people credit from where you got it from. If you know the source, and if you don't know the source, at least be courteous enough to say, sourced from picture from Pinterest or something, or client brought it in, or yada, yada, yada. I just, I'm pausing for a second because if people would really take the time to be still enough to get to know themselves, they would realize that they don't need to copy, and that, greatness is within them as well. I know I segued a little bit, but there's the issue, but then there is, why does this issue occur? And that's what I like to address, right? People tend to copy because why? They probably don't feel, good enough to come up with original word or content themselves. So they're now taking, they're looking outside of themselves for the inspiration. And I really wish that people would be conscious enough just to look within themselves to realize that, they too have the magic. They just have their own magic, and they too can show up in a way that is also magical and impactful without needing to borrow from, somebody else's way of showing up.
Yeah, most definitely. Now I want to get into, like you mentioned, a DBA. What does that entail exactly? A DBA?
A DBA is doing business as. It's a fictitious name. So for instance, I have a limited liability company. I have myself incorporated limited liability company, but I also have other business entities, right? So I have Sash Pro Tools. I also have Sash Pro Learn, and I have Sashanie Gray Nails. Sash Pro Tools, that's my professional tooling. Sash Pro Learn, those are my classes. And then Sashanie Gray Nails, that's a private practice. And then we're going to be expanding our business this summer by opening up a larger salon space that's going to be called Exo Sash. Now, I could have incorporated all of these entities separately, but that's also like 5 or 6 separate tax documents and stuff that I'd just rather not deal with. So what I do is I create DBAs, and I personally don't own any one of these companies. My limited liability owned these companies. So for instance, Sash Pro Tools. When I'm conducting business or, legal business, if you will, I filed Sash Pro Tools as a fictitious name. So it's Sashanie Gray doing business, or Sashanie Gray LLC doing business as Sash Pro Tools. So it's still a separate business entity that's owned by my umbrella corporation, Sashanie Gray LLC. It is one way to have multiple businesses under one umbrella without having to file for separate taxes for all of them. Yeah, I hope that clarified it for you.
Yeah, but I want to switch gears and talk about the Sash Pro Learn, because you offer gel manicure classes. So if you can offer more information and pertain to that, that'd be great.
Sure. So we talked earlier about the nail industry and all the technology that's available to us now. And one of the new hot girls on the block is a structured gel manicure. And I fell in love with this particular service. And I realized how much of a value it's been able to add to my guest's life as well as to my own life. And I'm like, I can't keep this to myself. I need to, teach as many people. And what also inspired me going out and teaching this course is because I can't, the amount of people that's requesting to get serviced by me, it's a blessing. It's an abundant amount of people, and I'm only one person. My team, we're only so big. We can only service so many people. So, what I decided to do was, let's educate as many people as possible about this particular service and how it's impacted my life and how it's impacted my client's life. And then hopefully it will be able to have the same results for you. I've also, some people will consider to me be a master at my craft. I'm still allowing myself to sit in that. I really love what I do, and I will say I'm pretty good at it. And I remember when I was developing my craft, I didn't really have as many resources back then to help me. So I believe it is a part of my responsibility to share what I know, right? Me keeping it to myself, I think would be selfish. It'd be selfish of me to just keep all this to myself. So I find that it's my responsibility to share all that I know so that I can impact and transform and help as many people as I can.
Yeah, most definitely. Now you're a lead nail educator for Essie. So I want you to talk more about that. So how did that opportunity came about?
It was divinely ordered. It was divinely ordered. And how can I make a long story short? Okay, let's see if I can synthesize this here. Networking in this industry is very important, right? Building relationships, genuine ones, it's very important. So I remember meeting one of my idols at the time, Julie Candlelick, in a class. Julie is based out of New York. I'm based out of Miami. This was like years ago. Let's just say I met Julie 2012. Julie and I became really great friends on socials. And maybe about a year later, Julie had a friend in Orlando that was looking for an assistant She at the Essie educator in Orlando at the time was looking for an assistant to do a job in Miami. Well, Julie knew me. Julie plugged my name. I worked as a nail assistant with the Essie educator at that time. And at the end of that work day, that Essie educator, who is Naomi Gonzalez. Hey, Naomi, if you're watching. Naomi then said, hey, I'm on my way out. Would you be interested in becoming an Essie educator? I was like, are you kidding? Like, when I was in nail school, they called me the Essie girl. Like, I've been wearing Essie since I was 13 years old. So it was like, oh my God, this is full circle. I was so excited. But here's like the part that really gave me goosebumps. Some of you may or may not know that Essie is owned by L'Oreal. It is the largest global beauty brand. One of my closest friends' sisters also worked for L'Oreal, and her office is right next to the office of Essie's education director at the time, Gino Tronzel, God rest his soul. And at the day of my interview with Gino, I'm doing my friend's nails. Her sister calls her. Hey, what are you up to? I'm just getting my nails in my Sashanie. So she's getting ready to do an interview with some guy named Gino. And she was like, shut up, Gino. His office is right next to mine. She runs over to Gino's office. And if you don't hire Sashanie right now, you're going to be in problems. Da, 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 da. And before you know it, it's time for my interview. And by then, Gino and I already felt like we knew each other. I already had it in the bag at that point. And then, you know, here we are, 2013 to 2022. I'm like 9 years later. Yeah. So that's how I became an Essie educator. And then I just slowly worked my way up actually, it didn't happen slow. It happened quite quickly. I worked my way from regional educator to like South Florida regional educator to East Coast lead educator to the entire nation.
Wow, that's absolutely really, really cool. And you get to do like trade shows, I'm sure, like trade shows around the nation. That's really, really
yes. Cool. Oh gosh, we had so much fun doing trade shows. Not only trade shows, but being an Essie educator. Now, Essie covers both professional as well as consumer division. I think, well, we've got rid of the pro department at the moment, but being able to have the opportunity to work both in professional and consumer divisions, just astronomical. Just I think about it, and I can only smile at the opportunities that was provided to me. That afforded me to work with Home Shopping Network as being on-air talent, doing live manicures on television, not only trade shows, but of course being able to teach and train high-end spas, being able to go into nail schools and teaching them, the Essie way, if you will, was it was a wonderful opportunity.
That's really, really amazing.
It surely was. Yes.
Now I want to get in and switch gears and talk about pricing. So how does one price a nail service, or like if someone's doing press on nails, like how does one go about pricing in terms of any nail service or any nail product?
I look at pricing and I use a reverse engineer recipe, right? I look at my life. Personally, I look at my life in the business realm, and I look at my expenses, and I look at what type of life would I like to live for myself and what would that cost, right? So we look at my personal overhead, my mortgage insurance. I like to take care of my body. So personal training, I like to eat well. So, what does all of that cost? Because remember, your business and your personal expenses are going to be different. Your business needs to make enough to cover both, depending on how you register your business also. Your business end of things, you're also going to have expenses over there, your booth rent, your suite rent, supplies, equipment, payroll, if you own a salon. Once you come up with that number, your cost per service needs to be at least that number to break even. If you want to make more than that, then that's when you will tack on, okay, well, I know I want to make at least, 20 to 30% more than that for savings, investments, blah, 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 blah. That's when you figure out that number, then you tack on that amount. So it's not just haphazardly comparing what so-and-so is charging and what so-and-so is charging. You need to know the cost of doing business for yourself, for you to determine how much you should be charging. And then maybe you might be able to compare it to what the market is currently charging and gauge yourself. If you're like, oh my God, I can do it way better than that, then charge what you feel you should be charging more than the other person on top of your break-even number. Mm-hmm. Right? I mentioned earlier about, I was going to say that how you register yourself as an LLC will also determine never mind. The thought came and went. It's an important one, but it wasn't so much in the context of what you asked me in terms of like, how do you come up with your prices? Bottom line, find out what your expenses are, personal and business. Find out what your cost of doing business is, your cost of living is. Find out what that number is, cost per service, and then add on top of that based upon, maybe market value or how much more you want to make on top of that. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Now I want to get into Fashion Week. So what has been your whole experience like doing nails for Fashion Week?
Oh my God, so much fun. Fashion Week is exhilarating. It is. We're doing 7 shows. 1 minute wear in Chelsea Piers, 1 minute wear downtown Manhattan, 1 minute wear on the outskirts of Brooklyn. Wow. It's fast paced. It's you're under tables, you're getting in where you're fitting in, and it's go, 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 go. And I love it. I haven't worked Fashion Week in a really long time, but when I did, oh my gosh, it was such a great juxtaposed experience compared to sitting in your salon every day. And, you're here for 1 hour and then your next client comes and you're sitting, you're sedentary for like 10 hours versus being in fashion show, like every hour you're at a next show. It's go, go, go. So it was really refreshing experience to be outside of the salon and to get to experience that.
Oh, wow. That's really, really cool. Yeah. Now, working with celebrities, like what has been your experience working with celebrities? Like how do these celebrities like contact you? Is it like on call? Or like they call you like a week ahead of time, or like how does that work?
We wish. Working with celebrities, how do I get my celebrity clients? Through the network. It's you have a friend. You have a nail gal pal in LA. You've got a nail friend in New York. Hey, my client's coming down to Miami. I wasn't able to take care of them before they left. Can you take care of them for me when she gets down there? Yada, yada, yada. That's usually how it's worked for me. And then once you develop a relationship with the celebrity and they know that you're in Miami, every time they're going to be in Miami and they know they need their nails done, then, I become their go-to Miami girl. My LA friend is their go-to LA girl. My New York friend is their go-to New York girl. So that's how I've been able to work with celebrities. How do they contact you? 30 minutes before they need you? That's usually how it is. It's like, can you come now? Or, what's your ETA? I'm like, well, you just texted me. It's usually, if you're lucky enough, maybe it might be the day before or a few days before, but most often it's like they need you yesterday.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. It could be a little crazy. So, because I also have a private practice, then now I get to rearrange my day to accommodate the celebrity if I so choose to do it. Just because a celebrity contacts me does not mean I take the call just because they're a celebrity or just because they're a house call. There's so many factors or costs, rather, I should say, that goes into running a business, not just financial costs. There's also like emotional and psychological and mental costs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it costs me too much mentally for me to rearrange my entire day just to accommodate doing a client, an A-list client, if you will. So I'll outsource it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I'm curious. I was curious to know like how working with celebrities work. Cause, you know, you would think, I would think that they would call you like a week at a time or like a month at a time or something like that, and I wanted to ask you that because I wanted to get like the full scope of that whole experience. Cause I never worked with like a celebrity or a lister before. So it's really, really cool to hear and interesting to hear these experiences.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's always, we've just landed. Can you meet us at the hotel in 30 minutes? Okay.
Yeah, but also like I want to talk about the other side of things, like fashion and nails is getting so big. Like the nails are just as much of a statement piece as like the garment. Also, like
absolutely
are like the celebrities are showing off their nails on the red carpet and shouting the nail techs out. So that's really, really cool.
Well, I think that's always been there, but platforms like social media has been really able to amplify it so quickly that it's worldwide and global at this stage. But I think fashion and nails has always been there. But we can thank platforms like Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram and Facebook to really help to amplify what's always been.
Yeah, absolutely. What is something that you would like to see within the nail industry?
Easy, better education from the foundational level, from the licensing level. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, better education from the foundational licensing level. It's like, hey, listen, not gonna lie, I get to capitalize off of that now. But a part of me kind of feels like, man, I just spent how many thousands of dollars to get my license to operate, and I feel so ill-equipped. I feel like that's a waste of money, right? So why are we not, if I look at it, if I'm going to invest into something, I'm looking to get a return on it, right? And now I get it, investments, but this should be a sure shot. I invest X monies to get my license. Not only should my license should come with preparing me for what's out there, right? And you think a nurse can go to school and get a license and come out and be like, okay, I'm ready to draw your blood. There's so much that goes into being a nurse, getting your license, and then being ready to practice, right? So I wish in the nail industry, because we deal with so much in terms of anatomy and chemistry, especially in terms of business, finances, accounting. There's so much more that goes into it that all of this should be incorporated at a foundational licensing level in terms of education to really prepare the tech for the real world. And not only for the real world, but to prepare them to make the best choice possible for themselves as well, because there's so many opportunities available to us. When I get out of school, do I want to work for a salon or do I want to be independent?
Right.
Do I want to do editorial stuff? Do I want to do fashion stuff? So yeah. And it would also deter people from the whole YouTube university thing, because YouTube is out there. It has a lot of information. However, YouTube is not teaching you, the chemistry and anatomy of things, So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Now, in terms of nail products and nail brushes, I want to kind of get into that with nail products and nail brushes. So what has been like your favorite products to use in terms of like creating nail art, and what has been like your favorite brushes?
Okay, so I pay very much attention to how my products perform and what I need to get out of them. right? So for instance, my gel polish, I use Japanese or Korean gel polishes, bottle form, not potted form, because potted form, I realize it's thicker. I don't get to work as fast. The bottled form, the consistency, it's creamy, it's sumptuous, it's like butter, it's highly pigmented. But what I do is I don't use the brush that comes with the bottle. I use the brush that's meant for the potted gels. So I realize when I merge the two, I am working super, super fast. So in terms of specific brands, I used to have one brand I would just blurt out for sure, but they changed their formulation and I don't like it right now. So I'm in the research phase. So F gel, I've researched, kind of sort of like them, but I think I'm falling in love with Jellyfit, their studio collection. So I love them. And in terms of brushes, Presto's flat brush, like I really have 3 brushes. That's all I use. 3 brushes. Everybody has hey, where's my other one? Everybody has like a drawer full of brushes or like a cup full of brushes. I use 3 brushes. That's it. Excuse me. I use my liner brush, which is from Agea, purchased from Nail Labo. I have the Presto square brush, also purchased from Nail Labo. And in terms for my cleanup brush, I use, I think it's a number 4 acrylic nail art brush that I got from Amazon. And I've had this brush since nail school. Okay. So these are the 3 brushes that I use. That's it. Like, I think sometimes as manicurists, we get so caught up in having everything. I need to have all the colors. I need to have all the brushes. I need to have all the nail art supplies. That's the quickest way you'll go broke. That's where you'll find you'll get money. And I want to be like, sis, are you here to make money? Or are you here to like brag about you have a wall full of colors? Because guess what? That wall full of colors, it's a sitting asset. Gel polish it has a 2-year shelf life. So if your polish are sitting up there for more than 2 years, that's just money you're throwing away. So when I mentor my, up and coming nail techs, for instance, I tell them to watch certain things like that. Like, don't get caught up in buying all the brushes. Don't get caught up in buying all the colors. Don't get caught up in buying all the nail art. Just, that's the quickest way to go broke in this industry. But yeah, back to your question in terms of my faves. So these are my 3 fave brushes. Jellyfit right now is my fave Korean gel polish brand. So far, my favorite structured gel is Luminary Nail Systems. And that's really the main 3 products that I use. Oh, stamping. I love stamping. Everybody in the mama knows that I love stamping. Mayu London, they are my absolute favorite. I use their stamping polishes and their stamping plates. And that's pretty much that's my lineup. I just gave you guys my lineup. That's it. My e-file bits, Erica's ATA. Also my e-file comes from Erica. And I'm looking around my room right now to be like, but yeah, that's it. Mayu over there. Luminary over there. Jellyfit over there. Hey Nails, they're a distributor just opened up here in Miami. They've introduced me to Izemi. Izemi is also fantastic. But things I also look at is quantity in the bottle. Like I look at price per service. So if I find that one brand is going to give me 15 milliliters at $25, but another brand's going to give me 10 milliliters at like 16 or $20, I'm going to go for that 15 milliliter for $25. You know what I mean? So there's so many factors that goes into choosing your product outside of just, oh my God, this color is so pretty.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Now, in terms of nail artists, who has been like your favorite nail artist that you've seen on social media?
Ooh, my favorite nail artists are Astro Wifey out of Chicago. Astro is Bay. Spiffster. The editorial nail.
Yeah, Gracie.
Mimi, Nails by Mimi. Oh my God, my list can go on. I'm getting goosebumps. I love these girls. Amy Vega, Amy V. Rose B. All hail the queen of Kauai. Oh God, there's so much, but off the top of my head, those are some of my faves. Those are my homegirls, my OGs, my fellow OGs.
Yeah. Gracie's my favorite. Spiffster, Nails by Kanichie.
Yes, I love her, and even as a person as well. Oh, I just want to hug her. Like, can I get a hug from you? I feel like her hugs would be so nice and warm.
I just recently interviewed her not too long ago on the show, but her work is absolutely amazing.
Yes, absolutely. I love her so much.
And also like Maddox McCullough, who is Ball Pit Nails on Instagram. Like her work is absolutely detailed. There's another nail artist that does like these very realistic nail art, like very realistic. Like she's very good at it. Her name is Viv Shu, I think. And she's
Is it Viv Lux? Is that how she goes by, Viv Lux or something like that?
She has like Pamper Nail Gallery.
I don't know. I wonder if she's the one I saw the other day that did like a whole line from Encancito.
Yeah, I think that's her. She's Asian.
I was like, what? This is. It looks like the seat. I mean, it looked like a computer. Like it was unreal. Yeah, it's beautiful work, man. There's so much talent right now in like it's there's so much talent, and I think it's so awesome for us to be, you know, walking in our power and doing what we all really love to do in this industry. Because coming from like a Caribbean background, being a nail girl, it's like the maid, if you will.
Right.
So like here in America, we're like rock stars, you know, we have the potential to be rock stars. So I'm like, even that within itself, I want to correct that stigma across the board, especially in the Caribbean for where I'm from. Like, girl, that's how much you're charging for that great, awesome work. No, man, you're a rock star. You need, let's switch this up. No, yeah, let's switch up the narrative.
Right, absolutely. How important is Black representation in the nail community?
All right, so of course it's very important. My experience though is a little different in terms of my worldview when it comes to race, right? So I grew up in Jamaica and I also grew up in Canada. I didn't know what like racism was or representation was until I moved to America at 16. So for me, I didn't look at color. I looked at accomplishment. I like I said, I looked at Julie Candelic and I wasn't looking at her color. I was like, well, shoot, if she can do it, I can do it too. So I think it might go also from worldview and how you look at the world. Now living in America and seeing how the African-American worldview might be different from that of a Caribbean worldview. I definitely, because remember, coming from Jamaica, everybody around me looks the same, right? Living in Toronto, it's like, you know, the UN of the world, everybody didn't look the same, but it didn't matter. Coming to America, nobody looked the same and it hecka mattered. So now that I'm here, I feel like representation, depending on the mindset, absolutely matters. Because let's face it, there are people out there that have the worldview that white is right, black is whack. And so to be able to show up as a Black woman in this industry, trailblazing along with other Black women and bringing I consider my community to be inclusive. So I'm not just bringing Black women up, but I surely make it a point to bring them up with me, is very important. Little children that look like us need to see more of us doing, you know, big things. So it's absolutely important. But it wasn't always important to me. It was not until I moved to America that I realized, hey, something's different.
Mm-hmm.
Let's help to make that change, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So,
now, how would you define success?
living life on your own terms. Being happy and living life on your own terms.
Yeah, most definitely. And also self-care too is definitely important. And
that's living your life on your own terms.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and being happy with what you do.
Right.
So
absolutely.
That's definitely the thing with that. Now, how would you define your impact in the nail community?
Sometimes I don't know how impactful I am until I get, reviews, feedback, so much love from socials or even in real life. Like I was in Target with my boyfriend the other day. The most random places I get approached, the airports, internationally at that. Like I'm in Charlotte and somebody, oh my God, you see Sashanie Gray nails? Someone's like, oh my God, what's happening? I'm in Target in Miami, not even in my neighborhood. And somebody's like, oh my God, you see Sashanie Gray? And I was like, do you do nails? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I somehow can never get used to it. I'm kind of like keep my head down and do the work and just try to be as impactful as possible. So I'm learning to get used to it. But it's not to be impactful certainly is the goal. To be popular, I don't care to be popular. I care to be impactful.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Now, last but not least, where can people find you on social media and how can people support your business?
Sure. You can find me on socials right now at Sashanie Gray Nails. That's SashaniGrayNails, as well as Sash Pro Tools. That's SASPROTOOLS. Both on Instagram. I'm on TikTok, but I'm not on TikTok. Using the same handle. We're currently doing some in-house stuff, so there might be some handles changing soon, but for now you can meet me at you can see me on Sashanie Gray Nails on Instagram, and our website is SashanieGrayNails.com. You can catch me in the DMs and the comments. Like, it's one thing to post, but the real community happens in the DMs. You should see it. It's like I have a bunch of girlfriends all over the world. We're just kiki and DM about stuff. I'm open. I love communicating with my friends. I don't consider, it says 21 point something followers, but they're just community members and cousins to me, Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Sashanie, for jumping onto the show. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your story. I love what you do, and I love how you're so much about nail education because it's very, very important. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Asia. It's an honor to be here. I appreciate it.
You are most welcome. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms and visit my website, ASIATHABIRD.com, and be on the lookout for more interviews to come very soon. Take care and stay beautiful.